because the weather has not been so very friendly. Well, moving on to the first story, a lot of things have happened during the course of the weekend, like I said earlier. But the first one we'll be looking at today is the traders who actually at Yaba who protested against a lack of electricity for 1 week. Now, the traders at Tejuosho shopping complex, Yaba, Lagos, staged a protest over the lack of electricity for weeks. Now, the protesters accused the management of continuously collecting monthly service charges despite not providing power. Well, let's quickly see a short clip of the protest, then we come back to actually deliberate and ask ourselves what is really going on, because we know Tejuosho complex is a marketplace. It runs every now and then. So I can imagine what it is for a producer, a businessman running is either diesel, fuel, or solar power. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. Well, we see that the protest became a bit, a bit violent towards the end of the There are a lot of videos already circulating, but that's the one we actually picked to play out just to avoid for viewers' discretion, basically. So what do you think about this? You know, having to run a business and you find out that you don't have power supply. Do you know at that point, first, it just increases inflation when it comes to the goods and services they're providing, and at the same time, how would I put it, you become edgy even about the business. And trust me, with the economy we have right now, I don't think it's something that we want to start spending money on electricity, and whereas where we're paying for that, we're not getting it. So what do you think?
Once again, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
I think the government at this point must, as a matter of urgency and necessity, address this issue of power generation, particularly as it has to do with the discos. Because I understand that as at the instance of the privatization, those discos were meant to inject money into those companies. But over time, it looks as if they have failed to do that. I think that best explains the reason we witness this level of power supply. Because to be quite honest with you, when it comes to whether at the level of SMEs, whether at the level of production sector, we need a sustainable power supply to be able to, for the economy to be able to flourish. Looking at the protest itself, protest by our standard is a legitimate means of citizens to draw the attention of the government or the authorities to any area they feel not satisfied with the government services. You understand that Section 50 of 1999 Constitution as amended is very clear. It empowers Nigerians to protest, but it has to fall within the ambits of the law. Where it becomes chaotic, the authorities like the police is empowered to move in to address it, but it must be within rule of engagement. But holistically speaking, I think if the discos are not willing or they don't have the fund to inject into those discos to make it viable, to be able to meet the demand of Nigerians, I think it's not out of place if the government decide to revoke the privatization and perhaps give it to more serious investors. Because to be quite honest with you, Nigeria is a very good market, big market, when it comes to this issue of power sector. I want to tell you that investors, even foreign investors, will be willing and ready to come and do business here. So it is very clear. If those who manage the disco currently are not willing to invest, I think they should give way to other serious investors.
I actually also believe that. But moving forward, do you think there's anything that even we as a Nigerian or as a businesswoman or woman that we can do to actually maybe also help our business and avoid, instances like this that will cause this an uproar?
The point is the only alternative is to either go for renewable energy, maybe solar panel and all of that. But you look at the cost of doing that. That is on one hand. And secondly, I have a feeling that because if the government at various points in time made us understand that there's need to start implementing cost reflective tariff. Understand that over time the government have increased the tariff, and are itching towards cost reflective tariffs because they made us understand that up to date they still subsidize for consumers. Understand that we have band A, band B, and different bands. But the question is, if those within the band A are having 24-hour power supply, and they're already paying in terms of cost reflective tariff, meaning government is no longer subsidizing for them, would it not be justified for them to stay without light?
No.
And holistically, does it make sense to even say you are even breaking the country into different bands? Some will be justified to have light, some don't have, depending on the band they are. So I have a feeling that even if you say we are moving towards cost reflective tariff because the government want to feel that they don't want to pay subsidy for people any longer, though I do not share that opinion. I believe that the government should have some areas they subsidize for Nigerians, because that is what happens world over. But whatever is the situation, we must have sustainable power supply if the economy will flourish. To answer your question directly, there is alternative, but when you look at that alternative, it's going to make what they do, of course they will spend more in doing what they do.
Yes. That's true. And that could also, like I said, inflate the prices of goods or services that they provide. So I think it's a call for the government or the managerial team of Tejuosho complex to actually do something about that, because it was actually getting very messy, or it actually got very messy, and it's something we should avoid. Violence is not the way to go.